a pretty good time. We're now at the street department. Scott's, you see reflected in your salaries, some increases. That's slightly more than the 30 cents. Is that including any new workers, or is that just only reflecting the increases?
That's just the increases.
Okay. And then, of course, your corresponding FICA and retirement.
And remember, I said, you know, 600 times 15 or 16. I mean,
$624. Roughly $624 a year in addition. How many you got down there, Scott, this whole time?
15. Let's count the night.
So
Yeah.
if you don't count mileage and you, and there's budget, it's budget in there for one new car, is that correct?
No, there's the grass crews budgeted in there. There's probably 4 or 5.
Yeah, there is.
I see the red
budget
grass
in there.
Yeah, there's
And one new car.
Yeah, there's one vacancy included in this.
When the grass crew guys that were on grass crew went to full-time employment. So there's all the grass crews is pretty much vacant right now.
And you see streetscape, again, the major change there, essentially the only change other than the salary increases is streetscape. And we budgeted 200 and that goes to 0. Because everything for streetscape has already been taken care of this year as far as budgetary side. Any questions about the street department?
The items that Scott had asked for are covered under new equipment from other items that we had budgeted for last year. So we left the budget the same to cover the new items that he had asked.
So it's 54,000 in there. Right. Anything else on streets?
Now, our backhoe pay, well, our, 2 payments come out of there. Our backhoe and our truck payment comes out of there.
It's about 24,000 a year, roughly, or so more for those 2 combined.
Yeah, you got-
About 30, almost 20, almost 30,000.
Yeah. But he only asked for about $6,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what.
So at least roughly 24 for to work with. Equipment. Anything on streets from any council members? Street lights, increase there, and I'm assuming that's reflecting just AEP's increases.
Yeah, just gotta.
Keeps going up.
And those are things we have to pay. This is vital, and they set the rate. Snow removal, it's left the same.
Have we used any this year?
Very little.
Good answer.
4 truckloads. I went out,
But we did get
Saturday.
some.
Yes, we got 50 tons.
But I'm just saying, have we used much of it?
Not much at all. I went out Saturday and salted the City Park Hill because they had a rental. And then Stevens Drive, I have to hit it at least, you know, if it's below 32, I have to hit Stevens Drive almost every day. Anytime it's below 32, but very little. I think I filled the truck up 4 times.
Good answer. But it's March.
Hmm.
They say it's not March.
Well, we just went on March, we got about 46 tons left.
Good answer. Thank you.
Next is street construction, and you see an increase here of 100, and that comes from MS4. We'll get that's on the next page. We'll get there, but MS4, since we're done with that building, that's reduced from 150 to 100, or excuse me, from 150 to 50. That frees up, so the mayor's putting that 100 into street construction for paving for this fiscal year. Is that correct, Mayor? Where'd that come from? I'm just looking at the math.
That's basically where it came from, but the reality is we have a couple major slips. We're going to start putting money aside for it. So
One's Ward 4, and one's 3.
yes,
Okay.
well, there's a little one up on Circle Drive that may manifest itself at time. So we got three active slips. The Circle Drive one is not real bad yet. You know, once we get some money set aside, we need to probably tackle probably Garnet first, and then look at Kearney Court would be another one that's going to go.
Any questions on, again,
And we have about 46,000 left in, street construction right now, but we need to think about spring paving with, and milling and pothole repairs with that money, so I would recommend the street committee get together and get that list so we can get that out to bid and secure what we plan to do this spring with paving.
any questions on street construction? Again, as the mayor mentioned, we do have 3 slips, and to get that money, since we are tight, we finished the salt bin, and that's where the money's freed up from for this 1 year.
Have we heard anything back on Lower Midway? I think you sent a letter to somebody and
I sent it to the highway, no, I have not gotten a response. I do bug them pretty regularly.
I knew you sent a letter out. Thank you.
And pause, anything else on street? Just, we go to sanitation. And see there, again, the main changes is again reflecting a small pay increase, and that trickles down into FICA, Medicare, and retirement. So that's essentially the only change in sanitation. And we have 1 truck included in their equipment. It's 1 truck payment. That'll be done pretty close. In fact, we forget the months on that, Connie, you know? when that-
We have 4 months left on truck payments.
Okay.
What I'd like to do towards 1st of May, and 1st of June, is call the bank and
Just get the final payoff.
pay that off, not carry that 1 payment into the next year's budget. So,
And then the new one is on order, and of course, that'll be reflected in the next year, not, because that's a 9-month turnaround, correct, Scott?
Right, yeah, he told me roughly 300 days at the time I ordered it.
It should have a neutral impact on the budget, because we'll continue the payment on.
1 truck together. Will there be much change in the monthly payment? I know it's just not radical. is it?
have no idea
Do you remember,
until we get a price and
you weren't, that's too far back when that truck was bought, but let's see what the price difference is.
Trying to find out.
Because this one's 131. And those, Connie,
but I have to contact them.
is that a 6-year payment plan?
I think that's, I'm not sure what it was. It may have been 5 or 6.
5 or 7, I'm normally 7, I think it's 7.
7, okay.
I don't like that said.
Any other questions on sanitation? Go to storm sewer MS4, and again, as we've talked, the salt bin is, that project is done other than the door. I guess, was that up yet, the sheet in the door? But we've got up in the budget for that this year, and so then we can reduce that from 150 down to 100 to help pay for that other line adjustment. Any questions about MS4? Just glad we got that thing built, it's done, right here. That's been a nightmare. I apologize to you all, department heads, because this is a long, boring evening for you all. So I'm sorry. You want another break, Bub?
I'm good. I gotta get to use the bathroom.
We're down to you, Bub, Parks and Rec. You had a list of things, but again, that new equipment, we left, the mayor's recommend we leave that new equipment the same. And again, most all this budget, other than pay raises, is pretty much a flat line. But that should be sufficient, looking at what you requested, correct? And then the only change in that is, again, the adjustments in salary and, again, FICA and Medicare.
Why is there such a huge difference in the retirement?
Yeah, that's, Brian, do you know on that? Because I know that's a corresponding formula.
Almost dollars.
Yeah, Parks and Rec from 8 to 15.9.
On retirement.
Yeah. I can say. I had to get my formula.
And that we can mark that there's a couple of those that we're not sure of. If needed, we can wiggle out just a couple thousand, but we don't want to toy with as much in case there is a reason for that until we know.
There's just double what it was.
Yeah. Any other questions about Parks and Rec? And again, we can come back and check a couple of those retirements at the end. Anything you have, Buck? And back on the issue of the AC, that would be dependent on where we come out with contingency for this year, correct, Mayor, on the AC? Because that's a large item that's not in a regular budget. Convention visitors, the only real adjustment other than any payroll would be, you see pool day, that 1,000 is moved over to Fall Festival to increase it from 10,000 to 11. But the total for that department stays the same. Any questions on that item there, on the CDB? Again, the revenue source for that is you get revenue from your hotel motel tax, and then what does not come in for that is made up in the rest of just out of our general revenues. And that will take a hit this year and next year with the hotel being closed. Shawnee Pool, it's projected to stay the same in there. Any questions for Bub on the pool? And then the mayor did update us, looking at how we'll eventually get it switched over so the water is only the water used for the pool was paid by the city, all that whole formula. That's not in the budget, that's another issue. Library, it's recommended the same, 67,000 for the year. We do that in quarterly payments. Beautification, recommend the same, 1,000. Aging, the only adjustment in aging would be showing a retirement adjustment. Again, FICA, Medicare, salary, I'm assuming they've got that wiggle room to absorb that. A couple of employees there, one of their employees, this city's, she's on that title. When does that expire?
They're all on there for 5 years, but I don't know how long. 4 years?
I think it's 4 years.
Is her expiration?
Matter of fact, I think I was talking about it the other day. She's getting close to coming up.
Might be in June.
And a couple of them have been extended.
Okay. For them, can we apply to extend people? How's that work to get?
We just have to talk with
Here,
Gary.
planning.
So it's been a very good program. To get, because it's only, it's 3,000 a year.
$1,000.
1,500.
Per person. Yeah, for 20 hours a week roughly.
It goes from 20 to 25, of course, probably the next few months, probably up to 40 for the end of the fiscal year.
Some of those are, we've been blessed with some good workers through that. You've got one now down here. You have one or two? Two, okay. You've got one at City Hall, one at seniors.
Yeah, two. Yeah, one upstairs,
Upstairs, one downstairs. Okay. So that's been a blessing, but that's something we have to think of when their terms expire to reapply.
Okay, go back to the aging budget again. If you go back to 951, not the line item, $40,000 for repairs and maintenance. What we did was we just left $40,000 in there, and then probably look at buying a new van later on in the after the first of the year. That the black Caravan is pretty much wore out. I mean, it's usable, but it's time that we get rid of it and get something else in that size to work with. So.
Yeah, I was talking to Queen today. One thing she said she'd like to see is automated doors down there.
We probably do need this.
So the doors we're gonna work on just as soon as we get the floor painted and all that construction done. Then both of those doors need to be completely redone, rethought, and replaced. So we'll probably do that before July, would be my guess.
And that 40,000, again, we just approved for this year is for the floor work, but again, the mayor said next year is work for a van and other things.
Right.
Any other question on aging? Okay, so you're pretty much at the end. You see your projections on coal severance. The only two things that we really can't, or two things to discuss again is, one, we can't figure for sure that's the final revenue projection until, now by next finance meeting, Brian, you kind of should have that nailed down as much as possible until the first of the year, correct? Some of those numbers don't come in until after, but like the blue paper and others will have all that tabulated for us.
Actually, what the taxes,
So
Don't have the info yet, didn't you?
Yeah, we just,
So by the next meeting, we should have that as much as you can. Again, there'll be other adjustments when you get to, is it June? Is that when you get more concrete numbers from the county on taxes?
no, it's,
Just
this is it.
Okay. And then Mayor had asked about the Little League, recommendation for the Little League in there somewhere as well, for a donation to them. Last time we did vote, didn't that come out of your budget when we did a one-time?
Yes.
Yeah,
And they did turn into receipt.
And I can't remember, was that in this fiscal year or last?
it was this one.
It was in this, one, like early fall.
Okay,
Or
that's well. So what were your, if we got some time, just what were your thoughts on that, as far as putting a line item for the Little League in there?
I think we need to learn about it. Before we support them.
The next question comes out, where do we make an adjustment in these 9 pages to come up with 3,000?
We had $1,300 earlier.
Yeah, that's why, so let's just wait and come back and look at those. We had
So
two,
let's get an idea of how much you want to put into it, and then we'll come back with where we can get it. I mean, I can tell you one thing right off the top of the head. If you look down on the last page of your budget, if you look under total severance, we're limited on how much we can carry over to the next year. Correct, Brian?
So I believe so, yeah.
And-
Yes.
this percentage.
And I don't know if this is really what we have in there right now.
But we gotta be, you know, between now and July, some of these things we need to be looking at expending the coal severance tax down to where we don't get penalized, when we go into next year's budget.
The only question on that is that usually for coal severance, we've only done it as one-time expenditures because you never know from year to year. And so do we want to just do a one-time thing for the Little League?
I don't think you take that out, could you take it out of full severance?
We could.
You can, just so it's not payroll, the only restrictions is payroll things, but we as,
Payroll's 25, you can use 25% of it.
we as a city though, have kind of made it a policy not to use anything out of coal severance that would be an ongoing expense. It's always been for like a one-time project to pick up, or I'm just throwing out examples. And so it'd be fine, we just need to keep that in mind. If we did that, then we'd have to come back another year and figure out if we want to do Little League again.
Well, I mean, we could take it out of this year's coal severance
Just go ahead and
cover next year. And
comment, thoughts on that?
I mean, we'll have to go through the short budget and see where it all falls, but that would, with season getting ready to start, an easy.
I like to see 3,000.
The question we're talking about now, though, is, and I think we're all comfortable with that now, but the question is, do we do it now out of coal severance, a one-time thing? Or do we try to find it in an ongoing budget that would be separate from coal severance just in the next year? And he's saying we could just go ahead and do it now. for
I
coal
want to do it
severance.
now.
I think we ought to do it now, and that'll give us more time to make the adjustment into the next budget if we want to leave it in there.
And then we need to go to whoever's representing them and ask them, you know, is that too much? Is that enough? Do you need more?
No, that's too much.
Who's the right monitor will tell you too much.
You never know. He might not want to be greedy. I'm just saying that
Don't think
You see that so often.
in the 11 years that I've been here, we've never really supported the Little League until this past year. And they are part of the Dunbar community, and they do
Well, we
a
did
good
have
service
Little
to the
League
kids.
for a few
The
years.
kids are outside. How many of you all play
Good to
ball when
have.
y'all were little? Raise your hands. Okay.
It's good to
And
have.
y'all turn out halfway decent. Let's give the next generation the same opportunity.
Yeah, that's not your Blake Day, but just half.
I'm just saying. Y'all, you know what I mean? Instead of playing video games, let's get them outside.
But just to clarify, strictly from a financial
Okay.
position, clarify that that's fine for us this year. Coal severance, as the mayor said. But if we want to continue, like like Doug mentioned, both you guys are all, I've got your wrong name.
Oh, no.
It's too long a meeting. But as Doug mentioned, if we want to put it as a line item in there, then we have to find that in this budget.
Right.
I would say if you do it now, it's going to cover what you're doing in next year's budget. They're just going to get it early.
Right.
That's fair too, just so we're clear on,
Just do something, because I think we ought to do
if we do that, pay them now, out of coal severance, it will not be reflected in next year's budget, though, just so we're all clear. They would still have the money and all that, but it'll be paid this year, and don't go looking for a line item next year, because it's not gonna be there, just so we all understand what we're saying, all right? Does that sound fair?
They're on sign-ups right now, so.
There'll be more useful now.
Opening day is April 11th.
Okay.
They just finished sign-up, so we're still taking more now. But
Oh, I forget, how much was that bud thing?
27 and change. So that's where we come up with that
So we need to
3,000.
do more?
it. It'll be the same stipulations with receipts turned in.
Yes, everything has to.
Okay.
How much more?
Stays in there.
You good with it?
So with that, though, we just asked that to be placed on the agenda of the next budget, or excuse me, the next finance meeting. If you would mind do that, because that would not be reflected in this budget. We're going now. Okay, we've covered pretty much everything that we need to cover on the expense side. We've got time now just to, is there anything that I missed? Is there something that you want to talk about in this budget? Anything before we start getting some things finalized and setting our motion, or not a motion, but just to get it ready for the next meeting and to be passed by council at the next council, all that. We discussed the time right now though, because we worked quickly through this. Anything that I went too fast on, you want to go back to? Any questions you've got? Anything from the clerk's office?
Your reports.
Mayor, anything, because I know you wrote this, but is there still anything you want us to go back and adjust that I went too fast through or anything?
You mentioned the retirement for council.
There was two items, retirement for council was seemed a little too high, and then also retirement for,
Right.
Parks and Rec. That both of them jumped a little bit. What we can do is, since there's those couple items, we can ask Connie Bryan to review that, and then at the next finance meeting, if they have a recommendation to lower, we can make that slight adjustment then. It's not fair, but I don't,
We'll probably have it adjusted and have the
final thing.
final
ready to go.
printed up so we can submit it.
Any other, before we move on to the clerk's reports and things, anything else about the budget?
Okay, just, I put on the agenda, the finance agenda to, do you all want to meet one more time for a work session before the 16th?
We need to just meet, yeah, I don't see a need to meet.
I just didn't know how this was gonna,
Yeah, and that's what I mean,
go.
I appreciate y'all coming forward, because I think we all agree it's better to start forward and rush to get this and have time to discuss it, than be cramming and need another meeting, so. The mayor asked that, Steve mentioned didn't think so. You're in this committee, do think there's a need for another meeting, or just to do the final as an item on the next finance?
As long as we get the packet with any changes before Saturday night.
So
When did you all get your packets?
On Friday, or Saturday.
Mine was late Saturday night.
Why weren't they all delivered on?
There was 3 that wasn't delivered, and as soon as I got the phone call, they were delivered within a half hour, so I would ask that, well, that the packets came out when we was directing traffic expired and all that, and I had them rest and calls forwarding and carried over to Friday evening, but if you call me at any time, I will correct, I'll find them.
I don't know if it's gonna be different.
Right, yeah, absolutely, I mean, that's.
Within a half hour, I'll back.
So today's the second, Brian, with just the slight adjustments, since it's not much. Is next Tuesday fair for us to all have mostly a final copy of it? And give us a week to look over everything.
File a copy of this.
Well, so actually put it on our
If we're gonna
Put
put
it
it
on
in,
municipal.
that's a 2 or 3 hour project.
They want to see this first.
If you, I mean, this won't be a problem.
That's
The actual
what the mayor's saying.
submission.
Yeah, we're just needing that just with all the, there's not been, with the few adjustments we've made, and final projections on revenue.
I didn't have any adjustments, I just thought you guys were looking into those two.
Those two, it's up, we're kind of leaving it to you.
Which was Jake.
It's like a $9,300 difference.
Yeah.
Between those two
Yeah, the only
categories.
difference, what he was talking about, the 3-hour project is to enter it into the state.
This is a
Program.
2 or 3 year project, if everything goes well.
And that one, I think we're comfortable.
So basically, we need to look into those 2 retirements.
Yeah.
Make sure we put,
And
put
that's,
as
that's
much
not,
money in
that's
it.
not, that's not a problem, I just, not sure I'll be able to get that out.
That's fine, as long as, if we can have this, we want to work with tonight, with just the slight adjustment this may bring, and then there's 2 retirement accounts, if you all check those and see if we need it or if we don't. And then that will give us time to have a week to go over everything.
So if the money goes up on the,
And I don't think it's going to,
is it going up or down, where do we take it out?
For, I mean, I don't think if it goes up, we just put contingency for now until we come back, but, let
Yeah,
later.
that's fine, we won't just say that's been working.
Hopefully we'll do it.
Excellent, thank you.
So, any other councilors, any last things, what we're looking at for the budget is Brian and Connie will have this with a few edits, back to us a week from tomorrow roughly, so we'd have almost a week to review it ourselves and go through it. And, with that, then we can have it just as another item on the finance agenda for March 16th, just to have one last chance for anybody to say yay or nay on anything on it. And then we would be able to submit it to full council for the approval on that evening on the 16th. Does that sound clear to everybody on this committee and other finance members? I think that's fine with you, correct, Connie?
I'm sorry.
So just, if we get our edited copy next Tuesday.
Yes, I'll get it to you as soon as we get it.
And then the mayor will just have it as another item on the agenda on the 16th.
Brian already works Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
So,
He gave himself a big raise, can't you want an extra? No, I'm joking.
And then the mayor will just add it as an item on the agenda, and then that would finish us out. We'd be ready to approve it, in the 16th in the full council. And as, I can't remember state code, is this, 1 or 2 readings? One, okay, so, but it will be a
That
roll
will be
call.
submitted on 128.
it's gotta be there, they like to have it way before the 28th, so they can look it over.
And send
If
it
there's
back.
any major mistakes, so they can send it back to us and get it.
I don't
So
foresee any
basically,
problems.
I see it should have been passed, it really should have been passed on this meeting, send it to them, and we would have it back for the next council meeting if there was anything done, but, so,
So we should be on target on the 16th, you can submit on
see what I'm
the 17th.
saying?
Can we get this number now?
That's fine.
When you guys pass it.
I'm sorry, Brian.
You want me to go look at the numbers?
We'll have to kick it out of that other.
Well, the only catch with that is, it's not on the agenda for full council, right, so we couldn't pass it till the next time. And that's a major item, we don't want to try to do that without being on the agenda, so.
So you can go ahead and head to bed and do these things, and if you want to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, 'cause
So I didn't print that, and then that can be looked at.
we'll be wrapping up here, we have to come back at 7, so we'll be around 12. With that on the budget, we have time now for anything the clerk has for, again, it's only the second, so there's probably not much, but anything the clerk has or the mayor has for finance items.
I did hand you 2 reports this evening. The $5 fee report for the police pension. So at the end of February, pardon? Yeah, the fireman pension, the $5 fee.
You said please, don't
You said please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
no, that's fine.
We have collected $55,846.69, and I know everybody's gonna say, how come we got so much cents? That's because our computer system is set up, probably we really have to take that much for. When we get those delinquent payments, the machine automatic divides it between 3.
Oh,
That's why we got them odd cents.
So they probably got more than they should have.
Yes, they probably got more than they should have.
But it was long past due, so.
Right, so that's why, and I have not put that in the fireman's pension, so I will probably this week give these figures to Sean to cut a check, and we're actually going to put it in BB&T's account.
Where was this
And not-
quote from?
Is that $5?
From the $5 municipal fee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that'll be put into BBT instead of the state fund, correct?
Yes, because I don't know how we're standing there, so I need to get Sarah to send us a bank statement. And then the data max is just, as you can see, what we collected for the month of July.
And question,
That's on license and B&O.
on the fireman's fee, the $5, and again, then we're getting a little residual, makes the odd numbers, but on the actual $5 part, in the monthly billing, what percentage are we running now on collections with the monthly cycle and things versus quarterly?
I would have to go get papers and figure it all out. I couldn't answer that right now. I don't have it with me.
Are you seeing any trends yet? I see it started slow.
Right, and you see January's was, but there again, that could have been, because we got some big delinquent payments that Debbie had been working on, not the law firm in January, I know. Because somebody sold a house and a couple houses were sold and we had liens on them, you know, so. Looks pretty close there, January and February, very close. $800.
Any questions for the clerk on the municipal fee collection for the fireman's pension fund? The data max, any questions? Again, that goes, we just
I have a
reflected
question about data.
another 2,000.
Are there that many businesses that we found, or have they just been one or two in big amounts?
It's, you know, when it started out, which they've been with us, been a good while now, I think. Not sure. They had some big accounts that came through, and then here lately, it just seems like it's just a
Small.
bunch of little.
Yeah, what happens with Datamax, they pay, they go after the previous 5 years of back, taxes. So the first checks you get are big. And then every check after that is just a quarterly check. So as long as those people stay current for that 1 year period of time or whatever it is, then those numbers are gonna, stay down low compared to initially when they were getting the 5-year back tax. So,
Yeah, every now and then they'll find a decent one, you know what I'm saying, but most of the time they're not. You know, like there's a couple there that's like September and October was 5,000. Like one of those were, Bank American. You know, and there's one of them that's, they rent equipment that goes through one of the banks. Has been our biggest. And I see on the municipal league always commenting about them. People are always asking because I guess they're out soliciting the rest of the cities in the state, and they'll come and ask, one of their clerks will say, hey, he's got Datamax, is it working for you all? And, see where some people says they've collected quite a bit, and we've never had a great big one, like a 55,000 one, like some of these people say. Yeah.
From somebody.
Did they really?
Yeah, but I forgot who it was from. They did.
Yeah.
It was like 50-something.
But we never got like 50,000 in 1 month.
Any other questions? We're getting near 6. We can try to, unless there's something else, we can wrap up at 6 and give us the break before we come back at 7. But anything else for the clerk? And she'll have more for us, of course, at the next meeting after things are reconciled in February. So,
Yeah, because he's going to do all that. He's only here like hours a week. That's it. So,
anything else on finance, Mayor?
no, sir.
I want to thank all the council members, not only this committee, but the others that came out as well. And thank you, department heads. And again, it's kind of a drudgery evening for you all, but thank you for being here. And, appreciate everybody's help. And we'll have a motion to adjourn. Just remember, full council at 7 o'clock.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Thank you.